Okay, right. Let's start this. Let's start this interview. Oh, here he is. Hey.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Oh, brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Okay, well, I've just literally put the record button on, but it's all cool because I can always edit anything out that's not necessary. So first and foremost, I'd like to say thank you. Welcome to On the Sofa with Esther again. It's a real privilege and a real pleasure. And I had a little insight into speaking to you guys a couple of days ago, but it's almost like, no, I need a longer interview because there's just so much that I wanted to peel and unpick and delve into. So thank you for your time. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank,
And I,
thank
I
you.
know who you are now because you haven't got the muzzle on. So yeah, I can identify you.
That's the master producer.
That's right. That's right. Okay, so I usually like to ask my guests. Firstly, I'm going to ask Terry, in a nutshell, in a peanut shell, or a crab shell, who is Terry Thompson?
That's a really good question for me. Terry Thompson is a husband, a son, a father of beautiful kids, brother, sister. Uh, Hopefully, just someone that everyone that I've contact with, and relate to me is just a genuine person. At the end of the day, I I believe someone certain,
You're breaking up quite a bit.
and then I try to, just somebody that's trying to live in the moment.
Mm, in the moment. Yeah. You're breaking up a little bit. So we'll see how this goes. And Thad, if I may call you Thad.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna ask you the same question, but I'm gonna say, who are you in a coconut shell, in a crab shell, and maybe some sort of she shell? Who is Thad?
Dad is a dad, a granddad, at the end of the day. And music is somewhere in the middle. But no, I'm a servant most of all. I'm here to serve. Um, Jesus said, "Let the greatest among you be the servant." So I'm here. I'm just here to serve, and I'm here to welcome any challenge that comes my way, whether it's in my comfort zone or outside of my comfort zone. You know,
Oh, we got
but
two Terences here. Look at that.
Yeah, I
he's
was having
magic.
I was I was having a major delay, and I wanted to switch over.
All right, let me just turn this other one off. Okay, right. That sounds a bit better. Are you still there, Thad? Oh
Yes,
yeah.
ma'am. Absolutely.
I thought you'd frozen then. It's like move, please.
No.
Fantastic. Well, thank you. So I'm going to ask you that question again, Terence, because there was a lot of interference
Okay,
initially. So let's go again. So who is Terence in a nutshell, in a peanut shell, in a coconut shell?
okay. So I am a husband, father, brother, son, friend. I believe to a lot of people, and just a genuine individual. I would always describe myself as someone who happens to like doing music, but
Yeah.
music isn't me. It's not who I am. I can't be defined as that or that person.
Okay, we're going to unpeel that. That's brilliant. You know, I can take that down. And Thad, I'm going to ask you the same question again because we had a bit of interference as well. So who is Thad in a nutshell, in a peanut shell, and let's say a crab shell?
Well, I had to say, I have to piggyback off my big brother, and I'm a dad, I'm a granddad, and most of all, I'm just a servant, and I totally believe in whatever you find your hands to
Mm,
do it as though you're doing it unto God and not to men, and that's how that's my walk. I mean, and that's how I get through my day, and that's how I get through my music. You know, I try to do everything to the best of my ability, and that's me.
Excellent, excellent. And it's interesting because I believe that when you do things from that space and with that awareness, then whatever goes on around you doesn't impact on you as much as it could do. And you, especially in the music industry where there's lots of ego and there's lots, I mean, I am in a really privileged place of, talking to a lot of artists, interviewing a lot of artists, but I hear a lot of stuff that goes on in the background. I'm keeping my mouth shut.
Yeah,
um, because it's just really interesting the dynamics. And I guess when we step out of our ego, if we're able to, because we're constantly a work in process, constantly evolving, but when we can just let the ego aside and
yeah,
just allow ourselves to be as free as possible within, then we don't get caught up in that stuff.
that's right.
It's not
That's
hard,
right.
it's not always easy, but you don't get caught up in that stuff. And I was listening to an interview with you, Terry, with another young lady from England, and you were talking about it wasn't so much about the music, but you were talking about, I think, the stuff around the music, and how you keep centered in this game. And you're saying a lot of poignant and salient points. And I think it's not even just in the music industry. I just think that's in life. How can you stand alone, stand tall and strong, and be genuine, and whatever goes on out there, you're just holding your lane. I mean, how have you held your lane in the industry, Terry?
I would, it's like, like I got to give all, like glory to God. I mean, I come from a very uh, faith-based, strong family. My mom
Mm,
raised by a single parent. Three kids. We've all done, very well for ourselves. Thank God. And I just think that it's having that foundation,
mm,
knowing at the end of the day. I mean, like, look, I mean, if I won 20 Grammys, I mean, that would be great. At the end of the day, it wouldn't change who I am to the core because I mean those Grammys are great, from the standpoint of man, by the way man will look at it. But I mean, I know that there's a greater calling in terms of what I have to do and who I am. So
mm.
I can't, I don't get caught up in that any of that hype because it's just music. It's not like I figured out the cure to cancer or I mean, a broken atom or genetic coding or something like that. It's just music, and it serves a place.
I'm going to come to you in a minute, Thad, but I just need to unpick. You said it's just music, but you also, you know that music, we're vehicles and we're vessels for what comes and runs through us. And music is an incredibly, I would say, it's an incredibly important place because it heals, it speaks into the soul, it speaks into our experiences. And
Right.
so your gift, I'm not going to go preachy on you.
No. But that's my point. And you're going exactly to my point. It's a gift. I mean, everyone can't do it. I mean, and it is a gift. So when you realize that it's a gift, it's not something that I gave myself. Now I can refine the gift, I
Yeah.
can cherish it and protect it and develop it. But at the end of the day, I mean, it's just a gift, and it's not something that I'm going to act as though is anything special about me. I mean,
Mm,
that's just at the end of the day. I think people just, you know, I also want to go back, but I think success breeds success. Like for me, I've had so many different successes in life. Even as
mm,
a kid, as a childhood athlete, I was good at sports. So
mm.
so you build on all that, but when you have that faith and you have that thing that's in you, that comfort, I mean, that's what I draw from at the end of the day. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, brilliant, brilliant. And Thad, I'm going to ask you the same question. What was the question?
Well, with me, I knew from an early age which one of my gifts was anyway, and that was playing my trombone. I started at 10 years old. My
Mm,
dad was a pastor, so I had my first little band. Um, had a sousaphone player, baritone player, maybe about 10 trombones and a trap drum and a snare drum we only could play one song, but you know, the people would get up and praise, and we thought we were hot stuff, and so that worked for me. But I knew then that it was a significant purpose there, and it took a little while for me to how do I put this? It took a little while for me to understand what playing that horn was, and
Mm,
what it meant to other people, and how it actually impacted people's lives. Because I have always been humble when it comes to that instrument, because you know I truly believe in letting God exalt me and not me exalt myself. So with that being said, I'm just grateful. I have to keep going back to this because this is what it is. I'm just grateful for the place that I'm in this time in my life, and definitely for Mr. Terence Thompson, because you don't come across producers like him every day. I think maybe you'll be lucky if you come across one in a lifetime,
mm,
because this guy takes time with you. If you are not just walking into a recording studio and know exactly what to do, he's going to walk you through it. He has patience, he has tenacity. I mean, you listen, he is I call him the TP. I haven't gave it, and that's the total package. I mean, he's the writer, he's the producer, he's the arranger, he's an artist. When you get the total package, you're blessed to be around the total package. And then he takes his gift,
mm.
not being selfish with his gift, but he shares his stage with other artists. He could do all of this himself, but he shares it. And I think, you know, I'm just grateful for that alone. And I'm just me being staying humble, and I think that's the key to a successful career, for lack of a better word, in this industry.
That's a whale, man. That's a whale. That's not a crab shot. That's a whale. But I loved it.
I had to get that out. I had to get that out.
Fantastic. No, this is brilliant. And you're right, because success is we say, different things to different people.
Right.
But when you're coming from that place of humility, also you can always see what's in front of you, because when you've got other things there, it blinds you. It blinds you, and it's that pure trust. And every day is a learning curve to trust. To trust. There's a picture. I don't know if you've seen it, of a couple, and they're blindfolded, and the woman's holding the child and the man's holding the woman, and they step off this cliff, and there's
Wow.
this visible hand. It's a very powerful image, and I get that, because there's been so many times when I have had to do that, or I've done that, and people think I'm sometimes crazy. They know that I'm quite driven. That's just me. I'm driven because I love what I do, and I want to. It's about creating platforms for others to come on, but just having this blind faith, and then letting go, and sometimes really trusting that you're going to be caught, man. That's a path in itself.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's a path in itself. But then beyond that, because sometimes you can't see beyond this, and you got
Hmm.
to trust, and that place of trusting sometimes takes you down on your knees, man, because it's almost like, I gotta jump, but it's looking kind of steep, but I gotta, you know, and so I'm coming back then to, you both talk about, there's a honoring between the both of you, but that's also because of your centeredness and your faith, and it just then that brings everything together. So after that long drawn out babble, what I'd like to do now is your tracks. I was looking at a lot of the titles, Terence, from your album. If I only had a band. Now I'd like you to just tell me about the title. If only I had a band. That's an interesting juxtaposition.
Yeah, yeah. I appreciate that. Yeah, so the title really, the concept of the album was actually going to be me producing and playing probably 95% of the tracks on a piano and a keyboard, the flutes, the horns, piano, everything that you heard, drums, all of that. So that's kind of like, okay, well, what the album sound like if I actually had a band, so that's kind of how it came to fruition. But I was fortunate enough to get introduced to a gentleman who had access to a lot of musicians that would eventually lead me to all of the guys that ended up playing on that album. And, the project became, it turned out to be what it was. But yeah, it was mostly just something to be able to say, hey, you know what? I don't even do music full time. But if I did do music full time, just imagine if I did it, and not in a braggadocious type of way, but just
like you're just owning what you do.
Yeah. What if? It was just what if,
And it's interesting because the titles of each track, because I'm going to pull one up now. Right, so with this one, I think this is No Inhibitions.
Yes.
That's the one right there.
I tapped into you before this. But even just the titles, you've got No Inhibitions, The Art of Silence. I've got that as well, which is really interesting because you're taking things on quite a deep, I would say, on a deep conscious level and looking at life from almost a microscopic perspective. No inhibition. But then there's a nice sassy flow to it as well, and then there's the curiosity, and then there's there's all of that packaged in this, Terry.
Yeah. That's that. I'm like fascinated just listening to you talk about it. I just want to sit on the sideline and just kind of pick your brain because I feel that way. This is one thing I'll say. I think what you hear is a certain level of thought, a certain level of intellect, all of those things. It's not just, I'm writing from a place, I'm free, in the sense that what you hear is I think it's a great representation of me. If Thad and I, his wife and my wife, we a lot of times when Thad we go to record, we do more talking and eating and joking than anything else. So and it's always a great time. Like we have a blast.
Yes.
But that's indicative of who we are, and I think that music is indicative of who I am. So if you were to hear me talk and we were talking, the word inhibition it's something that's in my normal. I wouldn't say normal, but it's just kind of indicative of who I am. The way I would describe how it is with my lady, and if I'm talking to my wife, like, hey, tonight, I'm dropping the kids off with your mom, and we're gonna have some fun. It's just clean adult fun.
Yes, yeah. And how long have you been married?
So we've been married 3 years now. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, we'll have this conversation in about 10 years' time, see if it's still the same way.
Yes. That's what I'm talking about. But that's what I'm talking about. And the song, The Art of Silence, so when I actually shoot the video for that, and I plan on shooting a video for it soon, is really about knowing when to not speak.
Yes.
There are these moments, and it's kind of like a play or a takeoff of Dave Chappelle skit, the whole "when keeping it real goes wrong." So it's kind of like knowing sometimes you just need to shut up, take the L, and move on. Don't speak your mind, especially as a man and in a relationship. That sometimes you just need to.
That's okay. I must have quite a strong masculine side as well. I remember many years ago I was going out with somebody, and it felt like I was just dragging this brick around me all the time, and it's just like you've got someone walking by your side. What is it? And so I I've got about 2 or 3 key people around me who will tell me honestly if I'm wrong or right. And so I remember I went to my male friend. I said, "Look, this is blah blah blah." And he goes, "No, Esther, this is what you do." And he goes, "Don't shoot the gun before you take it out your pocket." Right? So I had this conversation with this gentleman, and I tell you, the bullets and everything was out even before he could say anything. And so
Yeah.
when I went back to my friend, and he looked at me, he goes, "You shot the gun when it was still in your pocket." I said, "Had enough." So I understand where you're coming from. Um,
Yes.
and that's an art in itself, but also that's an awareness and a consciousness in itself as well. To know, when and when not to. So on that note, I am going to shut up and I'm going to play an excerpt from No Inhibitions. Ladies and gentlemen, you're on the sofa with Esther, and I'm talking to Terry Thompson and Thaddeus Cradle Sr. and No Inhibitions.
Trabajando por el día, creando magia por noche.
Oh, is that it? Has it finished?
Yep, that's it. That was the end of the song. Yep.
Oh, okay. Right. Hello. Well, welcome back.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But that
Man,
was
for a
that was a
minute,
great.
I thought I was on a beach somewhere. Just
Yeah,
that little part right there.
yeah. That was a good excerpt, though. I like that. I mean, because it didn't have the verse in it. The two verses was just the instrumental toward the end of it. But no, that's a great that song. I'm really proud of it, and I'm really happy about it. It was also the song that almost never happened.
Why? Why?
Uh, Yeah, because it was actually not intended to be on. I mean, it wasn't even and it wasn't part of the lineup. It didn't even exist,
Mm,
while I was working on the album. And I actually was recording the drums. I was doing a session to record the drums for, I believe, Benavito Acasa. And the drums didn't line up and they didn't work for that particular track after the session was done. So I just went back home and pulled up the files and started playing the keys over top of the drum track and kind of found my space with the groove. And then I started kind of coming up with the lyrics, and that's how it came to be. But it was actually not really in existence at the time. So it wouldn't
right.
have
Okay.
happened had that issue with the studio. It hadn't happened that day.
And it's almost like, you talk about having this freedom, Terry, and within that freedom and that space, you're not sort of confined to anything. You can make whatever is there. And you talked about being in the present and remaining in the present. So because you're present, you can just utilize whatever you've got now and make something of it rather than thinking, now, you don't bring the boundaries or the obstacles in, because there's that freedom to actually, I can try and do something with what I've got.
Yep, yeah. And the other thing is that I've had a couple of interviews, and people. One of the things that seems to come up is the sheer number of songs on the album. The fact that it's like 19, 20 tracks on the project, and for me, I when I set out to do the project, I didn't set out with a specific goal. I just knew I wanted it to sound like it represented me, like all of my musical tastes, influence, my vibes. I mean, I listen to all types of music. I'm inspired by everything. So I wanted it to be, indicative of that. I didn't set out to try to make a hit or anything like that, because I think that that's really difficult to do, and it's me. What you hear is me. Every song is all me. And there are no extra songs on that album. I mean, there were songs that didn't make that album that I'm actually about to release now. But they had to fit in that particular framing or the feeling that I was looking for.
Mm. And so then the next one that I'm going to play is called The Art of Silence. And once again, as Thad said, you just feel that you're being drawn into this energetic flow of calm and serenity and peace. And then wherever that journey takes you on the other side is when you land on the other side. But initially, you're drawn into that, and that's a really good way into wherever you're going to take your listeners. So let's listen to The Art of Silence.
It's been said that silence is golden. It's been said that silence is golden.
Almost very meditative. I'm glad it's almost 11 o'clock here because I could go straight to my bed after this interview.
Every song takes you on a different journey.
They do. And that's what sort of drew me to your body of work because, like you said, each song is different, but they all captivate you in a very similar thread. Thad, would you say? Because you're doing a lot of nodding, and
yeah, because I listen to it every day. I mean, I go to bed listening to it. I wake up listening to it because there's certain tracks that's coming up that I'm gonna be a part of. So I listen to all of it, and it's like it. How some music gets repetitive.
yes.
When you listen to it, and you be like, it's time to hear something else. But I mean, with Terry's recipe, it's just a different flavor each round. Every round goes higher and higher.
And what I'm going to do, I'd like to play, is it Her Strut Hey Queen?
Yes.
Yeah, Her Strut Hey Queen. I thought, that's an interesting, even just the way you put the wording, Her Strut Hey. Oh, I get it now. Yes, I get it. Her Strut. I get it. That's how you speak things out, and then it just makes sense. Because I thought I'd done written it wrong, and then I'm talking to her, and it's like, Her Strut, Hey Queen.
That's it. You got it.
Got it. Well, I'm going to play a little bit of that, and then you can sort of talk us through. And then, Thad, I'd like to hear a bit more about your part in the whole of this as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to On the Sofa with yours truly, Esther Austin. Actually, let me play one of my ads before I do that. Watch this, gentlemen. Watch this ad.
The summer issue, available July. Turning Point, your lifestyle, your well-being magazine. The summer issue, available July 2021. In collaboration with Street Flair London. The theme of this issue, #Black Royalty. So what does this mean to you? In this issue, we will be exploring a new, refreshing narrative and perspective. This is not a revolution. This is a celebration of self. Time to step into our personal power to enable the collective power. The responsibility lies with us. Great articles, empowered conversations, exclusives, art, culture, health and well-being, and much more. Join the conversation at #Black Royalty. And for further information, visit turningpointmag.com.
GMT, where she'll be interviewing the finest artists from the past and present, garnished with quality music. She also has health motivation with Treyan, founder of Inside Out Lifestyle. So that's On the Sofa with Esther each and every Sunday between 8 and 10 p.m. GMT right here on LN Soul Radio, where Neo Soul, R&B and chat lives.
Ah, I love this system. I've been using this system for about 6 weeks now. And you can do the most magical things with it. It's just like being like a kid in a candy store. What can I do now? Brilliant, brilliant. See all the scrolling bits, making it look like a real TV show. Yes. Okay, so what I was saying before, thank you very much for joining me today on the sofa with Esther. This is Thompson and Thaddeus. Is that right? Thaddeus?
Have you said it's gonna be right?
Don't let me go there. Don't you tell me. Thaddeus Cradle Snr, and we are talking about the album If I Only Had a Band, but we're also talking about things around that and what makes that up. So now I'm going to play a track called Her Strut, Hey Queen. Another mellow one, Thad, isn't it?
Come on, Mike. Come on, Tony. Come on. Yeah. Come on, brother. Come on. And hey, queen, may I ask your name? Maybe anything. You have a smiley face.
By the end of the day, I know it all may seem like it's the same, but I promise you, you will never be the same. Take a chance on me.
Sing it, man.
Uh,
You know, that's got so many things to it. But there's this whole thing. I was talking to somebody about Queen. When we say "Hey Queen," we have to understand what that means. It's because it's about honoring, and it's about honoring at the basis. You're honoring your king or your queen, and but everybody out there is doing some slapdash thing, and it's just like it's about honoring.
it is. I mean, it's for those of us, and we all have, or had a mom, a sister,
Mm,
a auntie, a cousin, some female, force in our lives, and for me, it's twofold. It's a cultural, issue that we're dealing with, and finding our value, and how we appreciate what we have, just as people, and it's a long journey and a difficult obstacle that we have to overcome because we've lost our value, so I will never personally do any music that's not indicative of reality or love or the struggles of love or faith or anything like that. It's just, and I don't knock it, but that's just not who I am. I want it to always have substance when it comes from me.
mm, yeah. And Thad?
Well, only thing I can say, and I can wrap it up real quick. Coming into this part of life with Terry, doing this here and doing this now, is definitely a raised consciousness because I was doing a certain type of music But when you come to the recording side of it, the technique, everything changes. You know what I'm saying? And when you have a master teacher that, you know, is willing to take time with you, show you the way and how to be a real recording artist, you know, it's just I welcome that, and I'm gonna rise to the occasion. Yeah, because it's a challenge for me, but I'm rising each second, each minute, each hour. So yeah, it's good.
Brilliant. But you said it's been a challenge for you. Why were you doing bashment?
Well, no, I've always played. I've recorded with several artists, John P. Key, Hezekiah Walker, but I've never been shown this way
Okay.
of recording.
Okay.
I mean, this is the correct way how you record. This, I mean, foundation.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but with it's like, you know, you get with other people and they'll just let you do whatever, and, you know, you think it's all good, but when you come up against somebody that really knows what they're doing and really has professionalism, you know,
Mm,
it's a different ball game.
yes.
It's a
Yeah.
different ball game. So, and I realize it, and that's why, you know, I keep talking about Mr. Thompson, but it's because the enthusiasm and the patience that he has. You know, you could be at a certain level, the level that he is. He can easily say, "Man, let me. Okay, look, I'm gonna get back with you a little later, but you know, let me go find another bone." But nah, he didn't say that.
Mm.
You know, so I'm gonna rise to the occasion.
Excellent. And it's nice that you're owning it. I really feel that you're really owning that, taking that next level up or whatever you feel you need to do. And that in itself is part of this journey of humility, because oftentimes we need to raise the bar on whatever level, and we're just choosing not to, or maybe we can't, or for whatever reason sometimes we remain here. But you are actually choosing, and sometimes it's not always easy to make that conscious decision and then do it, because there could be fear, it could be stuff that's happened to you before. But I can hear that in your voice, and that's why I said there is that honoring between, between you both. Um,
Absolutely.
and and I think on the other side, because you recognize what you're going to step into, man. Um,
Wow, that
it's
part.
Yeah, you're going to step into like, yeah, I'm going to be like a kid in a candy shop, because I explode.
Yeah,
And also and also, even within the music itself, the message. So it's not just the flow and all the nice things, but then there's the message of. It's almost like the music weaves the message. I think, if that makes sense, because the music
No,
is
it
just
does.
the music.
yes,
Yes.
I feel like a queen.
Right.
You
Yes. It's almost subliminal, you
That's
know.
right.
Yeah, and that's really what it is. Like, you have, like, to me, you have, like, this fantastic piece. I'm really excited, like the day when it comes for us to perform and we can gig live. I
Um,
was I was walking my wife through what it's gonna look like, and I'm very visual. But
uh,
man, like, I just see complete darkness on the stage, and all you hear are the snaps. And each time there's a snap, you see someone from the band, at their instrument. And then one of the snaps, you see me at the mic, and then we go into it. But it has to be visual, and to be able to whisper, to make somebody focus in on what you're saying. Because if you listen, the vocals aren't way over top of the music. You have to really listen, but it's laid in there a way that you want to listen.
can I get? I mean, if I start trying to play my recorder now, I could be on stage for you when you're ready. You know what I mean? Or recorder.
Listen, we can listen. I'm super inclusive. I mean, and it is true to what Thad said. I mean, it's about energy, and it's about, if someone shows, the desire to want to work, and I feel that connection. I want to work with them, and because it's you know it may be my moment now, but it's going to be someone else's moment, and then someone else's moment. And I just learned a long time ago. You know, you're better to try to help along the way, because, you know, I mean, he may be the guy that wins the Grammy, and I may get, you know, the credit for you know, working on his record. So, you know, it just, you never know how things are going to play out, you know.
I might even be the one that wins the Grammy, play that flute. You just
That's right. That solo, that wicked solo you're gonna get. I just listen, just don't come with a piccolo, whatever you do.
No, we're gonna have my granddaughter do that. They should get away with it. My granddaughter should get away with it. But this has been really incredible. Got about another 5 minutes, if I may take off your time, because I do want to play "Must Be Love" as well.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I better
You're
go.
on fire today, Esther.
I'm just trying to bring someone into my life. I said I'm waiting for because it is stepping into your own. So, ladies and gentlemen, once again on the sofa with Esther, and I'm talking to Terry Thompson and Thaddeus Cradle Snr. And we're talking about lots of wonderful things, and I hope you've been inspired by this interview. So this last track that I'm going to play is called "Must Be Love." All the things you put me through, it's so good 'cause I really love you. Why is it a man? Let me get it all in my chest. Boy, I thought you were just like all the rest. I'm ready so glad. Now it's all back in love. Must be love. You've got to do a Valentine song, man. Next year, 2022, you've got to do a Valentine. Can you imagine? Oh, wow. Wow. Must be love.
Yes, that's about that crazy couple that just, you know, they know they love each other, but they're in and out of love, but you know, love seems to always persevere. So, and it's just a real thing. It happens, you know, and just about every relationship, you know.
Yep. I'll remember to keep my mouth shut next time. Well, gentlemen, I just want to say a huge thank you for joining me again today, because I just knew that I wanted to, just take this, expand on what we touched on briefly the other day. And, what else do you have coming up? Because you don't seem to be someone that's confined on any level. And as you said, there's a couple of tracks that aren't on this particular album. And the album, ladies and gentlemen, is called "If I Only Had a Band." So what do we have to expect from Terence and also yourself, Dan?
Yeah, so a couple of things. So actually, us collectively, that inclusive and our team, our goal is to release 2 songs a month for the rest of the year. We have I have 2 that'll be dropping any day now. One of the songs I'm super actually I'm excited about all of them, but there's a song called "Safe Travels," which I think is just an epic piece from me as a songwriter and as a composer. To me, it's that comes, and then we have another song coming out. Also, it's called Uncle Anthony's Cookout, which is going to be really cool, really cool, like throwback retro feel. And then we have another song coming out called "Too Soon," which is a beautiful piece. It's actually written for an artist that's out now, and I won't, share it until after she records it and we get it done. But if she does it, I think it's going to be great. And even the original singer who did it, did a phenomenal job with it. So we have, we're planning to do a lot of different things, and then, kind of working on Thad's project solo thing on the side. We kind of been tinkering around and banging out some ideas also. So lots of good stuff. And big shout out to our guitarist Anthony Silver, who also he's starting to write a lot of music, and he's already given me probably close to 40 tracks of new music for us to start working on and producing. So we'll be busy for some time to come.
I guess I've always been curious about that process, because I do lots of different things and poetry, and I've always wanted to change, take this concept to, how to make it into song. So I may be calling you. And Thad, what about your idea? What have you got coming up? I know Terence touched briefly on that. Other than doing your cookout, I need to try your cookout. I don't know, what you do, sausages, bacon?
Listen, first of all, we got Terry has us on a 60-day no carb diet, and with / training, getting ready for her strut video. So I'm engulfed in that. But
good.
I have some. I was working on a song called King Jesus. It was supposed to come out last year. The guy I was working with, he came down with COVID, so it never materialized. So I'm going to shoot for releasing that again 12/12. It's simply about King Jesus, and that's it. And I was blessed I was walking this morning, and after I read my scripture, God just gave me a heavenly download. Just gave me the song, just placed it in my lap, called, when I look in the mirror, I see heaven in my view. So I just actually put that on paper today. So that's it. And with the exception of a boatload of stuff that Terry got going on, that's it. That's all I can do.
Excellent.
Yep.
And after your walks, you said that Terry's put you on a no carb, healthy eating style. Yeah.
Yeah.
How you managing, man? I feel your pain.
Yeah, but it's not as hard as I thought it was going to be.
No.
First few days I was feeling a little crazy, like I was missing something out of my life, because I'm a jelly bean fanatic. So, but after I got past the sugar thing, and the soda thing, I just started drinking my water. So now I do this thing with water, garlic, ginger, and turmeric, and I shake it up and just walk around with a gallon jug and drink that all day.
And a little bit of lemon, because the lemon helps to sort of cleanse the liver and stuff.
Thank you.
And the thing is, when you have those sugar cravings, oftentimes it's when you're lacking a certain vitamin or mineral. And once you start to eat well, then you don't have that craving. So if you get yourself a really good supplement, then that helps with the cravings for sugar.
Okay. Thank you, Esther.
That's okay, because I work out every day because I got a dog. Yeah. But ladies and gents, just want to say I hope you've enjoyed this interview. I certainly have. I've learned so much, and I am just so inspired by what you're putting out there. And I'm just going to keep tracking you like a radar. And when you've got anything else that's coming up, just let me know, and it'll be a privilege to interview again. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you. And I'm going to play again. What should I play again? Actually, yes, the Art of Silence.
Nice.
Bye. Not really.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, gentlemen. Bless you.
You too. Thank you.
Is it playing?
between 8 and 10 p.m. Catch On the Sofa with Esther each and every Sunday between 8 and 10 p.m. GMT, where she'll be interviewing the finest artists from the past and present, garnished with quality music. So that's On the Sofa with Esther each and every Sunday between 8 and 10 p.m. GMT, right here on LN Soul Radio, where Neo Soul, R&B and Chat lives.